Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Driver's Paddock. I'm Jason, and that's Jason. Roles are switched. We have a fun episode for you guys today. This is a little bit different from what you expect from this channel, but stay tuned because I think this is going to be some of the more in-depth conversation and reflection over the past year that hopefully you guys have been craving and looking forward to, right? This is where it's going to happen. We're going to talk about 2024 in review, I guess we should call it.
Yeah, today actually marks the 1 year anniversary of my channel.
Wow. So congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's been a lot of fun, and thank you everybody for all the support, to all the subscribers, everyone who's left a like, a comment, or shared. It really goes a long way to grow the channel and for me to be able to continue to make videos.
Yeah, for sure. So some of the things that I wanted to kind of tease out of you today, right? We're gonna make this a big show of sorts. We're gonna talk about Driver's Paddock Car of the Year, right?
Absolutely, yes.
We're gonna talk about what are the most fun cars, the most surprising cars, the cars that you would want to keep for yourself. If the owner handed you the keys for good and he's like, yes, I've got a spot in my garage for. But before we kind of dive into those parts, I do want to ask you, it's a 1 year anniversary, right? Maybe a quick story around how this all got started, and some of the big learnings and takeaways from the past year.
Yeah, in 2023 actually, so the year before, I drove even more cars than I did in 2024, which was just crazy. People always say, what's it like driving so many different cars? And I always say, like, in the years past, I drove even more, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
And so the reason why this sort of came about is because I wanted to document some of this, right? Even for myself, I kind of forget some of the cars that I've driven and the experiences that I've had, not just with cars, but with friends, with racing, with building a car, right?
Yeah.
Like even my own M2 competition, like it's been through so many iterations, but I don't have any videos of that. I don't have any memories with that. I mean, we're forgetful. Well, at least I am, right?
So this is all just the car guy's version of the Notebook.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I have it all in a little diary and a little book. You've seen that little book with all my excuses, my damping setups. Like, this is a fun day. There's a little note there.
Yeah. Dear diary,
I
had a great time today.
M2 competition was great today. Yeah. So, but it's been a blast just being able to connect with so many people in the community, being able to experience so many different cars and sort of take you guys along for the ride as well.
Yeah.
All these cars have different unique personalities, and not just modern current cars, but being able to experience cars that so many other people love. Like, I don't really understand older Hondas before, but now I'm really starting to.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't really understand.
Which car did that for you?
Oh man, the S2000 for sure. The S2000, right?
And that's not even that old.
And that's not even that old. I mean, when did that car come out?
2000s.
Yeah, I mean that's 24 years ago. When the S2000 came out, and when they're in the production years, we didn't have our licenses, right? 2000? No. Yeah, of course not, right? So I was 6 years old. Right, so my connection is sort of the cars when I was 15, 16, 17. Yeah, those cars that really resonate with us, and sort of some modern current cars as well. But
for sure,
I can understand some of these poster cars in people's rooms and whatnot, why they love them so much. And part of some of the criticism I've gotten is, like, I always talk about all the good stuff about cars, right? And then it's
that's my joke for you. It's like every car that you review becomes your new favorite car.
But it's, I do talk about some of the flaws of the cars, but I also understand how some of the owners, when they talk about them and we have conversations, they can see past so many of the flaws because they just love these cars for what they are. And that's kind of what this channel is about, just being able to experience cars, people's love for them. And we all don't drive the same car for many reasons, like budget and what we like, right? But the owners of these cars, these enthusiasts that offer up their cars for me to drive and review, who are excited to see the car be featured and for me to drive it and to experience it as well. Like they're just like, in love with these things. It's more than just an object. It's like a friend maybe, or something like that.
It's definitely a form of self-expression.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's think about the past year in numbers, do you know how many cars you reviewed? Like how many videos you put out?
I put out around 30 videos this year.
Oh, yeah.
So, maybe around like 25 cars we driven. Some were like repeat videos. Of course, my own time attack, like just a couple repeat videos there. But yeah, we drove a lot of cars this year.
Yeah. What was from a filming perspective and just like being out there and enjoying the day? What was the most memorable review for you?
The most memorable review is because it's just so different. Open cockpit, the Radical SR3 XX.
Yeah.
Just a completely different experience, right? You can't really compare it to a road car. It's sort of somewhere between, I'd say, like a really fast go-kart and a road car. It's the way that sort of it loads up. Like it's very quick to load up and change direction. Transitions are very fast. Not quite like a car. It does have suspension. It also has downforce. It was on slicks.
Yep.
Again, it was on a beautiful day, sunset. I think that video is actually called like, SR3 Radical reviews, Radicals and Sunsets or something like that. And
he's trying to appeal to a broader audience.
Yeah. But it was beautiful. I mean, TMP sunsets can be really, really nice, and it just that so happened that they open cockpit, beautiful sunset.
Yeah.
So I think that car was I drive a lot of cars, so I kind of know what to expect from like an FR car, or MR car, RR car, high horsepower, low horsepower. I kind of know what to expect, but the Radical getting into it was like...
It was radical.
It was radical.
It was radical.
It was crazy, yeah.
So when I look at that car, as someone who hasn't driven it before, like the steering feel must be very different, right? It's a small diameter, relatively wide tires for a car of that size and weight. So like, did you feel that it was heavy?
The steering?
Yeah.
No, you feel so much through the steering, right? And part of it, I think I was just gripping really, really hard. And the shape of the steering wheel is like it's like a formula sort of type of steering wheel. It's not a circular steering wheel, right? So, super direct. You feel basically everything. And the thing you think in a Radical with slicks and with downforce, you think you don't need to make very many steering corrections. You think it's like, it would just be like, very smooth. But actually it's so involving. Like you're making micro adjustments all the time. It was amazing. Like all the, the manual brakes and, the steering, the power isn't crazy, right? It's not that type of car. But, it revs up really, really high. Different experience altogether.
Yeah, that makes sense. One of the things I wanted to discuss is related to like the format of your videos, right? You're doing these track reviews of different people's cars that they put together, and I think that actually sets a pretty good tone if they like that content, that when they come back, it's a very similar format, right? You introduce the car, introduce the owner, you do some sliding laps, you do your hot lap, you have a bit of a discussion, right? What I want to know is, what's the interaction like with these owners? Are you reaching out to them? Are they reaching out to you? Are they nervous? Are they excited? How do you navigate that part of what is seemingly behind the scenes, but is really critical to this content, right?
Yeah, actually, a lot of the cars that are on the channel, some of them I've driven them in the past already. Okay. And how all this started and how in 2023 and the year before, how I've driven so many different cars is, I have a really good relationship with MTech Auto, MTech Racing.
Yep.
They deal with BMW, Audi, Porsche, any car for that matter. They work on my BRZ. They do, maintenance, modifications, track prep. They do a lot of time attack, endurance racing, that sort of thing. And so part of that came from when I did a little bit of coaching.
Yep.
For some of their clients, some of their friends, and on top of that, doing some suspension setup. So primarily like setting up, 2, 3, 4-way, 1-way dampers, and just giving them some feedback on their build, some things that I think I would change or things that I like. And so the videos, the content was already happening.
Yeah.
Right. It's just I didn't film any of it, which is why in 2024 I was like, I have to film some of this. It's just such an awesome experience, such a cool, unique opportunity and position that I'm in to be friends with all these people, but also to be able to help some of the customers with the shop. And then from there, I guess just word spreads, and some people are like, hey, can you set a benchmark in this?
Yeah.
And doing some data analysis, data acquisition. Myself, some owners like to see that comparison.
Yeah.
We did that podcast on data analysis and comparing laps from driver to driver, see where we can improve. So I guess all this transpired from just building the community and helping each other and sharing data, that sort of thing. So the experience now is because I've had videos, have the YouTube now, I have some exposure to the local scene here. People just come to me, they'll send me Instagram messages, hey, do you have any interest in reviewing this? Or hey, can you help me with this setup or whatever, right? So I filmed that one Camaro SS1 LE. I have 3 more Camaro SS1 LEs coming to the channel. They're in edit right now, like modified ones, and one with like a tune and a built motor. So
and that's
kind of how
that video did pretty well relative to the channel. I mean, a lot of people are interested in Camaros. And speaking of that, the Camaro video was a head-to-head, right? 2 cars. And I know Jackson was like, no, you got to go back out. You got to go back out and set a faster time because I think you did a better time in the automatic, right? At first.
Exactly.
And so related to that, did you ever find that, because a lot of these owners and drivers are coming to you to set a benchmark, were there any people who were disappointed with what the car was able to do or what you were able to do with the car?
Well, you just make excuses, right? Just make excuses. It's your fault. Your tires are bad, or like, track condition. No, but I mean, at least I don't think so. My viewers, like, you have to understand that lap time depends heavily on track conditions. It can vary so much, right? Tires. Traffic is a big one, trying to manage traffic and, to put down a fast lap when the tires are still hot and there's not a lot of significant degradation. And I have very, very limited time in these cars, right? So I do, sometimes it's only 5 laps, right? And I'm trying to figure out sort of like where the limits are, feel out the car and then try to push, right? And so, I usually have a conversation with them after and say like, hey, you know what? I think this was a really good benchmark. I think this was a really good lap. It's a good representation of what the car can do. Or other times I'll be like, I think there's this, a second or 2 left in the car. Here's where the time is, and here's why I wasn't able to extract that performance.
Right.
Yeah.
Give them some takeaways. Make it valuable.
Takeaways. Exactly. I try to offer people that offer up their cars, of course, they're doing a lot for me, right? So I try to offer as much as I possibly can, whether they want, after I'm done my 5 laps, whether they want some in-car coaching from me, whether they want me to, get some data for them, share my data or share my thoughts or whatever it is that they're looking for. I try my best to offer them something as well.
No, that makes sense. And so, they are putting out a lot on the line, right? And creating a lot of value. I think it's mutually beneficial. Have you had drivers or owners who show up at the track, they want to do this, but then they start feeling a little bit nervous, or
no,
happen?
No.
You have a very reassuring face.
No, I've never had that. And TMP primarily where we film. We've done some GP and DDT as well. It's a relatively safe track, right? Besides the last corner, as you know.
I do know.
You're a little insane.
Have a very intimate experience with that. With that last corner and that wall.
But relatively speaking, there's a lot of runoff. Like, it's pretty safe. And typically that last corner, I take it easier. Turn 10, I take a little bit easier as well. The high speed left turn, that's turn 10, right? Take that a little bit easier. Make sure the car's really settled. I mean, when I push these cars, outside of time attack, or if the owner says like, full send it, go for it, show me what it can do. I do leave a little bit of time on the table. Just a little bit of a safety margin in those corners specifically.
So how do you manage that when the owners have this expectation of really like just push it? Maybe the better question is like, have you had cars that showed up at the track and then you take a look, it's like, what, it's not ready for full send?
Well, if the owner wants me to actually set a very fast lap time, I usually ask for 2 sessions.
Yeah.
I need that for a session to really feel out the car. I have a general idea of what a FRR car will feel like, what a rear engine, rear wheel drive car will feel like, how I need to drive it. And I need to get a lot more information from the owner itself. Like, do you have any fast laps? Can you take me for a spin? Do you have any video? Do you have any data so I can study and take a look at it beforehand? So I'll just need a little bit more time in that car if they really, really want me to push it. Otherwise, I'm, sliding it around a little bit, having some fun with it. But if the expectation is to go really fast, like for example, like I had a GT4, Porsche GT4, it's like, let's see what this thing can do, right? It has the full Veris kit, the camber plates. So I actually took that car to a time attack event, CSCS finale. I drove it there. And so that gave me the entire day to see how fast I can go, right? So every video is just a discussion with the owner. Like, what do you want to get out of this? What are your expectations of me? That sort of thing. So, just being open and communicating with the owners.
Yeah. So you've put out quite a few videos, as we discussed, and I think people in the local scene, whether they were looking for it or not, probably have had your thumbnails in their feeds. People are probably sending it around. You yourself are, telling people, spreading the propaganda of Driver's Paddock.
Absolutely,
right?
The propaganda.
So let's get a little bit reflective on the past year. What would you say were your biggest takeaways, biggest learnings of having been out there in the community, doing these videos, making a production process out of it, and then just experiencing all these cars? What do you take away at the end of the year?
So besides learning, at the end of the day, I'm just a guy with a GoPro, right? Really, I don't have a big production team.
Oh, just one GoPro?
Yeah, I don't have a big production team or anything behind me. It's literally just myself, right? So learning how to edit, do audio. I just hope that my videos can continue to improve video over video, right? Like whether it's the thumbnail or whatever it is, right? And again, thank you for everyone's support. Like, but in terms of the cars themselves, right? Like, it's really interesting to learn about not just the car, but the owners themselves, which I'll hope to expand on in the future, right? To involve the owners of the cars themselves a little bit more, hear a little bit more from them. Like, for example, Phil's video on his, FA20, FA24 hybrid build, right? We learned a little bit more about him, but just how much cars really mean to people.
Yeah.
Right? They are just more than objects. They're such an emotional connection with them. There is a man and machine connection that, I guess people who love cars or car enthusiasts, whether you like track driving or just Sunday morning drives, or whether you like show and shine and lowering your car like crazy, there's this love and affinity that we have towards cars, right? And again, there's just more than things, really. I feel like they're in some ways like, friends, right?
Yeah.
Something that you grow with as you go. So like, it's just getting to know the owners and why they have this particular car, why they have such a connection to it. And the coolest thing is seeing cars that have been around for like a really, really long time, the history behind them. Like newer cars is just like, I bought this car, I like it because X, Y, and Z. But, for example, I have a friend who has a very old 911 that, his grandpa had, gave to his dad. Now he has it, right?
Yeah.
And one thing that he said that just really stuck in my mind, he's like, yeah, this car is going to go to my kid. Like, I don't really own it. It's just, I'm here to enjoy it. I'm here to
custodian.
Yeah. I'm here to enjoy it. I'm here to look after it. I'm here to, have fun with it, experience it, and then pass it on to the next person to have a relationship, enjoy it, love it, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah. That's kind of so interesting, like to the point where that innate like human nature to think about custodianship of some sort of like family heirloom or an object is so strong that for a fact that some of these luxury companies are playing into that. Like for the longest time, like I think that's the slogan for like Patek Philippe, where it's like, oh, you're you don't own this watch. You're just taking care of it. And people love it, right? Because they're thinking about like, oh yeah, I can justify this purchase. It's not for me. It's for everyone down my line, right? Everybody gets to experience this. But no, I do think it comes from a good place, right?
I think so too.
Or at least that's what we can tell our significant others when we open the wallet.
Yeah, this is for our kid. This is not for me. This is for our grandchildren. No, but like even like for example, our good friend Dragos, who has like a Club Sport Time Attack E36 M3 that's coming to the channel.
Yeah.
Like I just asked him like, hey man, like you love this car so much, he washes it every day, he checks every bolt bushing way too much,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
if you ever ride with him at the track, do not place your helmet on the roof. He will not be happy with you.
Yes, he loves this car, right? And I asked him like, hey, how much would you sell your car for? Like realistically, what would you sell this for? And I was like, 100,000. He's like, no way. He's getting mad. Like 150, 200. He's like, no, I would never sell this. 250. He's like, no, stop asking. Like it's just this thing will just never be for sale. Like even if the right buyer came, offered him 250K, like he'd say no. So it's just like, wow, okay. That's it says a lot, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. And the reason why he wanted you to stop is because he doesn't want to believe it himself either. He's like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. But people really love their cars, and sharing in that and being part of that is just it's an amazing experience.
Yeah. So you've clearly experienced and seen the impact of car ownership and track car ownership on people and how much it's become part of their identities. How has this year affected you personally in your relationship with cars?
Like because I drove so many cars, I actually didn't spend that much time driving my own cars.
Yeah.
And for a very brief moment, I actually considered selling
What, that doesn't happen
one of
like
my
every
M2s.
month?
No, never. Like I love that thing so much. I built that thing. Like it's like when I first saw that car, when I first saw Chris Harris review the M2 Comp and
Sliding it all over the place.
Yeah, I was like, this is the car for me. Had the S55 motor, had the big brakes, shorter wheelbase. Like it was amazing. So, but I did spend some time away from driving some of my own cars, right? Driving so many other cars, and so. At the end of the season, I have a video of me and Jim going to GP and TMP, and both of us kind of pushing each other, trying to go as fast as we possibly can. And those are like some of the best times that I had track driving the M2 and just enjoying my time on track, right? I cared about lap time because Jim was there, but actually the experience itself was amazing. I didn't look at the lap times till afterwards. But it was just so much
Those
fun.
are always the best track days.
So amazing. Just chasing a GT3 MR 991.2 GT3, and Jim was there, of course, myself, just driving around GP and driving TMP was a lot of fun. And so filming all these cars, there is a process to it. There's a lot of thinking and planning that goes along with all that. And so you kind of want everything to go perfectly. So I guess I wouldn't say it takes away from my enjoyment and experience of these cars, but like I said, there's a lot of work that goes into every single day that I go and I film something.
Yeah.
So, but when I'm actually in the car, that experience is raw. It's my real emotions. It's my real thoughts. For example, like my Miata video, I was just laughing, screaming, yelling. It's because of how fun it was, how much like lean there was, how much dive there was, how much it squatted. Just a lot of fun. That's that raw emotion, that enjoyment that really comes out when I drive cars.
Yep. Yeah. Is it gonna be sustainable going forward? Because we joked about this at the beginning of the year that up until probably the end of May, there was probably not a single person in the world who had done more laps at Motorsport GP than you have, because you're literally there every weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. I mean, with the endurance racing that we do, with the time attack, with the lapping, with the school days that I coach, I think I have the most laps in 2024 around Motorsport GP. That's for sure. But in terms of sustainability, like in 2025, like I'm coaching with Ontario Time Attack. Now with Scott Murphin, I'm helping out with coaching with JRP, with CAM Motorsports, with Razor Motorsports. I mean, I think it is sustainable. I mean, we have families, we work, and so just trying to find efficiency in what I do.
Yeah.
Just trying to. The last track day I went to, I filmed 7 cars.
Yeah.
So I think I have a little bit of a process now, right? Like there's some, it's like introduction, the B-rolls that we take a closer look at the car, we meet the owner, we do the track driving, and then we do the reviews, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm sort of finding a better workflow and
yeah. So what I'm hearing is when you start putting out the job descriptions for your co-op interns for next year, it's gonna be like, oh, must know how to use DaVinci Resolve.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So. Just for people who don't know, Jay's main thing is he runs a sports physio clinic. Yeah. He's got a lot of interns.
Yeah. So I do that. I run the business and I treat practitioner, and then the YouTube stuff and help out with MTech, whole bunch of things. So it's like it's pretty crazy.
All over.
Yeah. It gets the schedules get crazy, and spending time with my wife and family, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Let's talk about the special cars over this past year, right? I'm gonna leave car of the year for the end. Maybe let's start with which car was the most fun for you to review?
Which car was the most fun? Well, I mean, like, I'll leave my own car out of this because I think like that car really like dynamically is perfect for me. Like I've set it up. It's gone through a lot of iterations. A lot of hard work has gone into that car, but that car really is the most fun. Number one, also because like it's my own car. If I crash it, it's like my own car. It's okay. It's better. Yeah. But yeah, I love cars that can really, really slide. Right. Of course, you can throttle steer them. Are of course balanced. Right. More power, the better for me. I really like at any point to be able to spin the rear wheels. So that's why I love my own M2. I think it's the most fun car. But I drove a supercharged S2000, the silver one, and we don't know what differential is in it. I think that car has been passed around a little bit, but that diff is clearly not set up well for that car because the way that it locks up is just too quick.
Too aggressive.
What I suspect is it potentially could be a stock S2000 differential, and because of the increased power output, the diff just wants to lock up like right away. Right, the ramp angles or whatever, or it's a 1.5 way with ramps that are really close to one another, so it's closer to a 2-way, or really it is a 2-way, right? Because it's just that the car is so loose basically everywhere, and it always wants to go sideways. And the thing is, that car had a huge amount of adjustability through the throttle. You can kick it sideways and just, there's so much adjustability, right? More throttle, more angle, less, nose tucks in. And so you're just kind of sliding around, dancing with the car. I really enjoyed that one. I think that was the most fun. Yeah.
Nice. What about which of the cars would you personally like to own?
Do I have to pay for it? No, right? I just magically get it.
No, because then you're just gonna be like, oh, just give me a GT car.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I'm gonna sell it right away.
No. You gotta pay for it.
I have to pay for it.
You gotta pay for it.
What? And do I still keep my cars?
Yeah.
Which car would I add to? Okay, here's the thing. I already have the M2. I have a BRZ.
Yeah.
Right. My wife drives a Tesla. 2 BRZs. My wife drives a Tesla. So I'm not gonna add like another FR.
All right, stop being practical for a second. Imagine you have like a 10-car garage.
Okay. 10-car garage.
Yeah.
So I am looking for some sort of front engine, front wheel drive car.
Oh, FF.
Because I want to add to the garage, right? I don't want just FR cars, right?
Yeah.
Or or a mid-engine car. I don't know. It's hard to say. It'd either be the Elantra N.
Okay.
Or it has to be on my channel. I have to have reviewed it or have driven it in the past.
Give me both answers.
Okay, it'd be a 992 GT3, but on my channel I have a 992 GT3 Touring. So I haven't reviewed the 992. I don't have a video of it. Unfortunately, that was before the channel started, but I would take the manual GT3 Touring.
And that's more of like a weekend car, occasionally take it to track?
Yeah, something like that.
Why
but if it's a Touring though,
yeah,
I would slap some sort of wing on it. So just make it a GT3 basically.
Yeah, so I guess my two follow-up questions. One is why manual? And then two, do you think you're mature enough to not trade up to the RS?
I think the 992 GT3 RS is a little bit too crazy. I've driven it on the road. I have one coming to the channel for 2025, which I'll track review. But I think it is too crazy of a road/track car. Like, I mean, what car has like DRS? The aero on it is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Has Lexan, right?
Adjust the diff on the fly.
Exactly. There's you can adjust rebound and the suspension on these little knobs. Again, like you said, the diff. I just want something that's a little bit more simple.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And that car is so incredibly fast. Like, I think my M2 is already getting to the point where I probably want to full cage it. I think safety is a bit of concern. I mean, it's doing 122s at Mosport GP. It's crazy, right? It's broken the production car record at Mosport GP.
Yeah.
Right. And I think there's a crazy expectation when you drive an RS, right?
Yeah.
Like people
are looking.
Exactly. And if you go fast, people are like, oh, it's an RS, right? If you go slow, it's like you're slow. You know what I mean? There's no winning with that car.
True.
You know what I mean?
Every time you go out there, you better be setting a production lap record.
Yeah, every single time you go out.
Because everyone knows what that car can do and they can name the video.
Yeah, if I make a video and I do a 124 at Mosport GP, people are like, this is slow, you know? Like, it's a $500,000 car, right? I don't want to send it into a wall if it's somebody else's car too, right? And yeah, I mean, that capabilities of that car is just so high. You always have to really push it. And again, the aero and everything is crazy as well. I think like a manual GT3 would be more of a simple car and not as much to think about and adjust and do all that, but still really fast, still really fun, still really capable.
If I were to go down that line of thinking, then why a 992, right?
Yeah, I haven't driven a 991.2 GT3 or RS. I've driven a 991.1, which I really enjoy. Nuance car, really, really good car. I would also potentially choose that car, but with some looming motor issues, that car is 10 years old, right? I wouldn't want to foot the bill if the motor went, you know. I think that's a real concern. Yeah, the finger followers are hydraulic in that car. So, I mean, owners have seen engine failures. I mean, previous generations saw engine fires. So, yeah. I would take 718 GT4 over the 991.1 GT3, just because I think a GT4, any Porsche GT product holds its value, right? And then over time,
I mean, that's always
if you want, you can always trade up, right?
It's always the joke that the Porsche drivers track for free.
Yeah, you drive for 2 years and get rid of it, you don't lose a penny. It's crazy, right?
Until it does start to devalue and then everything flips. But for the past, I don't know, 2 decades, it's been the case that it only goes up. So
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, and then BMW is just like constant depreciation. Like, it's crazy. You're never getting your money back.
Yeah,
you're getting pennies on the dollar for parts and the car itself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Where, you know, this might be a little bit more controversial, but were there any cars that on paper seemed like they were going to be amazing, but then were a little bit disappointing on track?
Oof.
I mean, some angry messages.
I mean, that means that means that I had a really high expectation for it. It doesn't mean that the car is not good. It's still really, really good, but it just means that I set in my mind a really high expectation for this particular car.
Yeah.
Okay, it's good. This car is going to redeem itself. Okay. The K24 swapped turbo S2000.
Yeah.
It weighed 2,300 pounds.
Yeah.
Totally stripped, has MCS suspension. V-mount radiator, hard top, cage, manual brakes, like had everything. Okay, we tried filming that car 5 times.
Crazy.
5 times.
Just likes to flirt.
Every single time it had an issue. One time there's no rain in the forecast. All of a sudden, pouring rain. Yeah, it was dangerous to drive that car. It has a crazy LSD. Everything about that car was amazing on paper, but unfortunately, we just couldn't get it to cooperate. So in my mind, I'm like, this is gonna be the fastest car I've ever driven, right? Like 400 wheel horsepower, 2,300 pounds. This one's gonna be amazing. And like every single time, I was like, oh no, like I got a little let down. And so that car is going to redeem itself. We figured out the issues, like it needs a surge tank, some other little small things. We had a little bit of a leak, a little bit of slip in the serpentine belt, but all of that is going to be
a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this.
And that's but the thing is, like, the owner loves that thing. Like, even if it's having issues, like, I'm going to spend so much time and energy to fix this thing, to keep it alive, to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And even like putting around slowly around the track, like he loves that thing. And so still an amazing experience, but that car has crazy potential. It's probably going to be the fastest car that I've ever driven around TMP.
What is it, a G30 turbo?
G25.
G25.
The same thing as yours, right?
Oh man, I went G35 900.
Oh yeah?
We going big boost.
I have no idea. Yeah. And
G25 or 550 or something. Anyway, it's on the smaller end, but it'll spool up really, really fast. Yeah. Yeah. So if you like that car when it's at its potential, then I think you'll like the 86 when it's done.
The car that I'm most looking forward to driving in 2025 is actually this guy's car.
I don't know. So 2025 might be a little early.
Come on, man. Let's get to work, man. Get to work, because this guy is building a K24 swap G30, you said? G35 900 turbo in a Gen 1 FRS.
Yeah.
It's going to be stripped out, has a half cage, but the cool part of this build, plus all that stuff, is that it's going to have a BMW DCT transmission. So the same one in my M2 competition.
It's such a weird formula, and the reason why I'm going with the G35 900, even though like you need to build the boost on it, it's just the housing is bigger, right? Is with the DCT, I'm less picky about having shorter gear ratios and keeping, like, it's gonna like be what, like 450 wheel. I'm keeping the stock 4.1 rear diff, and so it's gonna run through the gears pretty fast. But with the DCT, so it will just be in high RPM.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll stay in boost. I don't know. That's the theory, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'm most excited to drive that car. So stay tuned. I mean, in terms of FRSs and BRZs, like the king would be Jason's car, right? With the K24 turbo. We have a F820 with a turbo coming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. His name's Lance. He's the owner of the supercharged S2000.
Oh yeah.
So he has a turbo FRS. He has a drift car FRS that I'm also going to review. So hopefully we can go drifting with him, right? There's a couple of other FRSs. We'll see.
Connect a few corners, huh?
Yeah, we'll see.
I've only ever really seen you just do one. You know?
Yeah, we'll see. That's those transitions. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that with other people's cars. Maybe
I want to do that next year too. I want to get in drifting.
Yeah, okay. Let's get some drifting content.
Yeah. There's a good friend of Driven who's really into drifting. And by the way, the red S2000, the original builder of that car, is also a client of Driven All Sport.
No way.
We're at right now. Yeah, he came by and talked about that car.
No way.
Like,
that's cool.
What he watched, because he watched your video. It's like, yeah, like, I have the surge tank that it needs in the basement. Like, you know.
It's funny because 4 people messaged me.
Yeah.
4
people.
And they all said, hey, I'm the previous owner of this car. I'm just thinking, like, what's going on? I'm like, what? What's going on? Well,
we should get all the owners together.
Yeah. I think they might start fighting. Like, why did you take the surge tank out? Why did you do this? Why did you chop this off? This was perfect at the time. You know, like, it's anyways, but yeah.
You know what was in there originally? It was a built F20 that was, I think it was bored out to, like, I don't know, 2.4.
Oh wow.
3.4 or something like. So like it was just a crazy NA build.
Yeah. These are the stories that I would love to tell. Get these guys together, right? So yeah. More of that coming for 2025. Like I said, I want to showcase some more of the owners and their experience with the car, as well as, like, you know, of course, all the track driving dynamics, car reviews, that sort of thing. Right?
Yeah. All right, so let's get to the burning question then. Driver's Paddock Car of the Year. So tell me the short list.
Yeah.
You know, what's in contention, and then what would you pick?
Yeah. I mean, I think for it to be Car of the Year, because this is more of a track enthusiast channel. Yeah. More about driving dynamics, more about the track driving experience. I really don't care about, like, the cargo space. Like, none of that really matters in this on this channel, right? The cargo space, like how many it seats, you know, as a daily, like, you know, none of that matters.
Visors.
Yeah. But yeah, visors. Yeah, that's our cup holders. I think the S2000 has the potential, or if it was fixed and ready to be like, the car of the year.
Man, you really want this car to perform.
I really want it to perform, right? Like, but that's the woes of a project car, which I'm sure you'll soon experience.
Of course. Soon. What do you mean? I've been experiencing it. That's 10 years.
Trying to mate and build all these things together, right?
Yeah.
It can be a headache. But I hate to say it, and I hate Chris Pachinski, right? My good friend.
Yeah.
Like, that guy drives me nuts. My good friend and endurance racing teammate along with this guy. But the car of the year is Camaro SS1LE.
Really?
Does that surprise you?
Not too surprising. Not too surprising. I think that car surprises a lot of people when you actually drive it. Because like visually, I think we grew up in the era where the Camaro is like, it's a boat. It's heavy, it sways, the transition's gonna be slow. When you hit the brakes, it's gonna dive. And it's Bumblebee from Transformers. That's the Camaro, right?
Yeah.
But the exterior still feels like it should be like that, but the driving dynamics it's pretty insane.
Yeah, like it's 3,800 pounds. It's heavy, right? So I think it just really surprised me as well, because it's 3,800 pounds, right? Has a V8, 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8, which is great. The Tremec 6-speed is really good. It has a flat foot shifting.
Yep.
The rev match is really good. The downshift rev match, of course. The pedal placement is really good. Right out of the box, it's good to go, right? It doesn't have overheating issues. The brakes are good. Everything is very natural. And it's really fast, right? Everything is pretty sophisticated in that car. It all sort of works together, right? That differential is so clever, electronically controlled, right? It takes in yaw sensors, steering inputs, throttle inputs, everything, and it really pushes you out of the corner, and you can really throttle steer the car. It's really an amazing feeling. And again, when you go to the track, you don't want your car to break down. You don't want to. That's time wasted for so many people. Like, it's so expensive to go to the track.
Yeah.
And it takes so much time to get there, to plan for it, to pack all your stuff, wake up early in the morning, drive there. You want to be there to enjoy your time and then go home. That car, again, out of the box, it's ready to go. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to touch a thing. Maybe change the brake fluid.
Brake pads?
The pads are okay. The stock pads are okay.
For the stock
tires.
The
stock tires, yeah. But it comes with some Goodyear Supercar 3s, which are really good tires as well, right?
What is that, 300 tread wear?
I think it might be 200 tread wear. I'm not sure.
Way.
Maybe it's 300. I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's 300. I don't know. But anyways, those tires have really good pace as well. It's out of the box. It's just ready to go. Minimum mods. Take it to the track.
As long as you can get over the aesthetics.
As long as you can get over the aesthetics, and the visibility is a bit low, but it's okay. I can get it out. I thought that car would be very boaty, very floaty, but again, has MagneRide suspension, right? It's just like the whole package is really, really amazing.
Yeah. Good value.
Great value. Yeah, great value. But unfortunately, at the time of filming this, like, they're discontinued. You can't buy them anymore, right? So I think Chevy has moved on to really focus on the Corvettes.
Yeah.
But hopefully the nameplate comes back, and hopefully not just like in an EV or hybrid format, because these cars are really, really good. But that car, for a few generations, even compared to Chris's 2017 model and the 2023 models that I drove, they're pretty much the same car.
Yeah.
Right? They haven't really. There's some styling changes, but they haven't really really innovated or changed it up very much. Yeah, but still an amazing car. Still a really, really good car.
Would you own
one? No, because the M2 competition exists.
Yeah.
And the Supra exists. The SS1LE, out of the box, good to go. That's it. Put some camber bolts. Not many more modifications I would really want to do. And I like to tinker. I like to adjust things. I like to make it my own. And so the tunability, even of a turbocharged motor, like downpipe and a tune, 100 horsepower, right? Or changing out the suspension. I just wouldn't want to change out the MagneRide suspension, right?
Yeah.
But in my car, I want to put on adjustable 3-4 way coilovers, put on some aero, the aftermarket support, with the Supra, the M2s, like people like Spage, Jackie Ding from PhD, Varus Engineering, all these companies, Brandon's new company, right? That's coming out with all these aero parts or these aftermarket parts that, the ceiling is much higher for those cars than the SS1LE.
Yeah. I could see myself getting into a Supra.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah, I think so too. But I mean, with your build, I don't think it really makes sense.
It wouldn't be a track car. It would replace the GTI's duty of like when the FRS is inevitably on the lift.
Yeah, but you want a higher horsepower rear-wheel drive car in a Canadian winter with kids and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is pipe dream of when I have that 10-car garage. Yeah. I'll just leave it here.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's all very exciting. I think that's like pretty good insight from someone who's had a lot of varied experiences with driving different cars that were prepped for the track to hear. And I think that's probably going to surprise some people, right? Camaro SS 1LE. Hard to get now. Do you know, like obviously they're not making them anymore, but is it a tough car to buy used?
I'm not sure, but even when Jackson, one of the owners, was trying to get his car, like he said he took over an allocation from somebody else.
You couldn't even get
he was kind of saying how like they don't really make them for the Canadian market, and even his it's spec the way that he wouldn't really spec it. Like it has a sunroof, it has heated and cool seats, and also it doesn't have the performance data recorder. So I mean that's how he would spec it. I really think the SS1LE is really made for the track, right? Like that thing kind of belongs there. I mean, it's super comfortable on the road, of course, with the MagneRide suspension, but like on track, it's amazing. Like they belong there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Let's talk about 2025. You already mentioned that a 3RS, 992 3RS has come to the channel.
Yep.
Very exciting. K24, S2000, hopefully. It's all buttoned up and ready for that as well. What are some other cars that you're excited about that's lined up for the next season?
Okay, your car has to come, of course, for sure. We have some 991 GT cars coming.
Yeah.
So the .2, which I really want to drive because I envision myself probably having a 991.2 GT3 or GT3 RS at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have the motor issues that the 991.1 has. And I really like the look of that RS. And that car came out sort of when I was like getting my license. And, when I saw that car, I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. I really, at one point, want to own this car. We have a turbo coming. We have the hybrid GTS coming.
Yep.
So that's a new car. M-Tech has 2 new race cars coming, which I'm not going to disclose. Those will be on the channel soon. Whole bunch of cars. Like we have, again, the Turbo FA20 FRS or BRZ, Honda S2000, a stock one. Our friends Tim and Sean are always changing up their garage, right? So whatever cars they decide to
revolving door of cars,
wherever this cars they get, for sure I'm going to review. We have Dragos's E36 time attack build. We have Stu's full send WRX can jam built WRX, and a whole bunch of other cars, some older Hondas, which I'm actually really excited about driving.
Yeah, you should also review my GTI.
Yeah, maybe the GTI.
No, I'm kidding, man.
I'm gonna do some fun cars like Honda Fits, 8th Gen SI. Which
if you do a Honda Fit, I'm putting my money on it now. That's 2025 car of the year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But honestly, if you're watching this and you have a car, you have a story that you want to tell, or a car you want me to review, please reach out. It's sort of what keeps the channel alive, right? And you can find me at Drivers Paddock on Instagram, or email me at driverspaddockofficial@gmail.com, or get in touch, comment below, get in touch some way, or get in touch.
He's open. DMs are open.
Yeah, DMs are open. I'd be happy to coach or to provide some data analysis or whatever it is you're looking for. If you just want me to set a benchmark or get my review or thoughts on the car.
Awesome. Yeah. Any last words or shout outs you want to make?
Yeah, like thank you to the viewers. You know, if you're watching these videos, it goes a long way if you like, comment, subscribe, or share the video.
Put the video on repeat.
Put the video on repeat. Exactly.
On all your devices.
All your devices. Repeat.
Send it to your grandma.
Exactly. And you know, MTech Auto, of course, they deal with BMW, Audi, Porsche, any cars for that matter. They do maintenance, track prep, everything, modifications. Go check them out. OCD Detail, our detailer who details all of our race cars, all of our road cars. He's absolutely amazing. Check him out on Instagram. And Razor Motorsports for hosting some amazing track days. And for 2020, shout out to Ed and his team. Show up to all their events. We coach. We have a great time. So please come out and maybe do some driver paddock track days in the near future. Right, nice. That'll be a lot of fun with you guys, right? And shout out to Peter Hansen with Hansen International Driving School. If you're looking for some instruction, you can check him out as well, or on Ontario Time Attack as well. We're both instructors there. We do a really good school at Mosport DDT as well as Mosport GP. Shout out to CSCS Racing, Unity Racing, Patrick at B Squared, of course yourself, and all our friends and teammates with Endurance Racing, with Time Attack. It's been a really, really good season. It's been really a lot of fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for 2024, I guess. You releasing any more videos before the end of the year?
Yeah, I have. Well, I think by the time this releases, I think most of the videos will be posted. But yeah, there's a lot in the pipeline that I'm really excited to share.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, we'll wrap it up here, and we'll make this a regular thing, right? We'll do some more long form stuff, have some deeper discussions, answer some questions that people have. But yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yeah, if you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section below. Please also check out Two Track Mind on YouTube. If you like the content that you see on my channel, you're gonna love the content you see on his as well.
Because he's in it all the time. That's why. All right, see you guys.
Catch you on the next one.